What's going on, everybody? Critical Ray back here again, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review of Rampage. Now, this movie has a runtime of an hour and 47 minutes, and it stars Dwayne Johnson, Naomi Harris, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, uh, Malin Ackerman, Jake Lacey, and Joe Magnolia. This was directed by Brad Payton, and the screenplay was written by Ryan Engel, Carlton Coos, Ryan J. Condal, and Adam Steichel, and the story is by Ryan Engel. And the basic synopsis for this movie is when three different animals become infected with a dangerous pathogen, a primatologist and a geneticist team up to stop them from destroying Chicago. Now, I didn't really have any expectations for this movie. I know this is based off of a video game, an old video game, which I never played. So I don't have any knowledge of what all happens in that game. But just as a movie, it's pretty entertaining. The CGI was actually pretty decent. I think that they could have done a little bit better, but for the most part, it wasn't as noticeable. I mean, for what it is, it could have been a lot worse. And I like the look of the monsters, especially the alligator and the wolf. I like both how those looked. I mean, this is just a big action movie, so if you go into it knowing that, you'll probably be okay with what you get. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is the best thing out of this movie by far. I love him as Negan in Walking Dead, and in this, he's playing this charismatic asshole like he does in Walking Dead, and it carries over, and he plays it so well. And I swear, majority of his dialogue, which is why it's so good, is just because it's improv. Like, it's just him coming up with what he's saying. So I really, really love Jeffrey Dean Morgan in this movie. And plus, him and The Rock have some banter, and it's hilarious. The Rock is, once again, really good as the lead in an action movie, because that's typically what he does. And, yeah, I mean, he's great at it, so keep up the good work if he so happens to come across this review, which I highly doubt. And this movie has a bunch of funny moments. I mean, like quick little, back and forth banter, the ape, and just some of the stuff that he does with The Rock is hilarious. And yeah, those are everything that I liked about it. But let's get into what I disliked. For one, the dialogue in this movie, at some parts of it, was very cliche and cheesy, and it felt like very 80s, 70s and 80s action writing. Like, The Rock and the geneticist have, some of their dialogue is very like what you see between a guy and a girl dialogue in the 80s and 70s in an action movie like this. And you can really tell it's just that type of cheesiness. And yeah, I mean, it kind of took me out of the movie, and I don't really like seeing that in this day and age, and with movies like this. But I mean, it's just something I don't like, but y'all might like it. And this movie, to me, felt like it had some very slow parts, which is due to the fact that it probably wasn't paced right. Like, the movie felt longer than it actually was, just because it has some very slow parts, like in the beginning. It has some good parts, but it has some very slow parts. Some of the action felt very underwhelming, and I don't know why it felt underwhelming, but it did. And yeah, the first time you see the wolf and stuff, like big, that whole action sequence, it didn't do it for me. It felt very underwhelming, and yeah, it had a couple more scenes like that. And then, a lot of people ain't gonna notice this, but I did. Some of the editing like transitions, like when they're transitioning to another scene. It's kind of like, it's just they cut it out. There's no like transition thing. It's just cut out and then it jumps. It just jumps to a totally different part. And I felt like that was something that just felt off. I mean, I didn't really care for that, how they did it. But like I said, most people ain't gonna notice that, but I did. Overall, if you're just wanting to watch a action movie with monsters, The Rock, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, or Negan, because he basically plays a Negan type character with a bunch of laughs and a little cheesy dialogue, you will probably find this movie very enjoyable, like I did, or you'll probably like it. And yeah, so with all that being said, I'm going to give Rampage a C. So go check it out if you haven't already. Definitely go check this one out over Truth or Dare, which I'll have a link to my review in this little coming up, and with little boxes pop up. And yeah, comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the movie, if you liked it, if you've seen it, or if you're going to see it, or if you're just a fan of the video games and you just think they're going to screw it all up. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. And yeah, like the video, share the video with all your friends, family, everyone that you know, and even people that you don't know. And subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Goodbye.